We're on the Matsuura MAM72-35V. It's a 5-axis machine with 40 pallets. And we always talk about bringing jobs back to America or back to whatever country you're from. We talk about supply chain issues and people not being able to get their parts and the cost of manufacturing rising. And you even see companies that are actually taking their parts away from China and putting them in other countries and still thinking they have to manufacture in other countries, that we just simply can't compete here in the United States. Well, today we're gonna actually prove that that entire concept that you have to manufacture elsewhere is false. We're gonna show you how you can actually produce your own parts in your own companies faster, cheaper, more efficient than anywhere in the world. And with the right setup, you can do it at your own pace. Now, realistically, everything that I just said, I've said in multiple videos. But the difference today is we're gonna actually create a 3-part video series. Through the series, you're gonna understand exactly how to run a machine like this and why this machine or machines like it can completely change your company. We're gonna show you how to strategically program individual parts to run them efficient and problem-free. And then we're gonna show you an example of 2 different parts. Then we're gonna set up duplicate pallets for each part. We're gonna show you how to set it up, how to tool it up, how to strategically program it. After it gets programmed, you're basically gonna turn this machine into a vending machine of your parts. Now, as you guys know, this is the first video of the series. And in this video, we're gonna concentrate on a specific part. It's called a rack body. Now, this is a real part that we're actually machining for a real customer. So we have Dre, one of our great machinists. He's programming this part for this pallet. Now, when you look at this specific part, it's being manufactured elsewhere. And our customer, they actually want to bring it in-house. When you look at the manufacturing of the part, it's being done in many different ops. So what we're gonna do is program it strategically to get the entire part done in a single op. And we're gonna do it in a way that we can manage the chips, we can manage the tools, we can make sure there's no stringy chips or anything that would get in the way that would prevent us from simply going to the next part, the next part, the next part. We wanna make sure that when we finish one part, our tools are in perfect condition. And we also want to show you how to set up the machine so you have multiple tools that can actually step in for a tool that might get damaged. We're going to show you how to inspect the parts, how to make automatic corrections in the machines, even if you're not here. Now, some of the probing and inspection and management of it is going to happen throughout the 3 video series. In the second video, Barry's going to step up. He's going to actually do a left side differential carrier. This is an actual part for an actual customer, the same customer in fact, and he's going to show you exactly how to strategically program this part also in a single operation. So when somebody comes in the next morning, you can just have multiple parts done, the machine's still running, and they simply come over here, snap off the parts, and then you simply grind away a few tab marks, and then it's ready to go to post-process. And then in the third video, we're gonna teach you intimately how to actually put all the jobs in, how to manage the entire system, and how to truly do lights out machining. Now, I just wanna be straightforward. If you are an owner of a company, if you're a leader of a company, you're a programmer, machinist, operator, this is probably one of the most important video series that you've ever watched. The knowledge that we're gonna lay down in this video series will completely change how you actually view manufacturing, and what you learn can be the foundation to take your company to levels that until now you could not even comprehend. I'm so excited. So let's actually start this video right now. Get over to Dre, where he's working on the rack body. Boom.
So the part I'm making today is for a company based out of Houston called Rush Auto Works. They're a really cool company that makes track cars, and currently they're manufacturing all their own parts in up to 6 operations. They came to us to see if we could help streamline their processes and get things down to 1 or 2 operations max. We're gonna be doing it with automation and lights out manufacturing in mind. And when you have to run a large quantity of parts, this is the perfect kind of machine to do it on. We're running this part today on our Matsuura MAM72-35V. It's got a 40 pallet pool system and a tool magazine that can hold over 500 tools. This is a perfect machine to maximize lights out production. The pallet scheduling features on this machine are great. They allow you to attach a job to a specific pallet and attach that work coordinate system to that project as well. Once you have a process proved out, all it takes to run that part is scheduling the pallet on this screen here. After you've scheduled the pallet to run, the Matsuura interface is going to grab the program out of its library and plug in your fixture offset values from the last time you ran the job. Because we're going to probe every part that we load into the machine, its exact location on this vise isn't important. You don't need to stop, you just need to be close to center line when you tighten down the vise. When the part gets pulled into the machine, we're gonna probe Z, align C, probe X and Y, and then we'll be all set up to run the job perfectly. One other thing I had to consider while programming this part was that it gets anodized. So we need to build in that tolerance to our part, so after ano, all our dimensions come out at nominal. When programming things unattended, dependability becomes the most important feature of your program. You need to make sure that your part can be machined without running into any issues, and if there are issues, that those will be detected by either your probe or your tool setter. So you don't end up walking into a huge train wreck in the morning with multiple broken tools and a whole lot of work to do. So this is our finished part. We're running this part in one operation. So that means we're gonna have to tab it off. When tabbing parts off, the order that you create the features is gonna be one of the most important things. You're gonna lose rigidity if you rough out too much material before you finish the features on the top of your part. Rush Auto doesn't wanna be making hundreds of parts every time they need one. This is the perfect machine to have a just-in-time production philosophy. We're gonna run this part all in one operation, and once we get it set up, it won't ever be torn down, and anytime they need one, they'll be able to call up the program, load the material, and have a part just in time. We're gonna focus on the top of our part first, then move down to the through bore in the middle, and then we're gonna rough out all this material here and finish these walls. So up first is a 1/2" core 5 with 2.5 inches of flute length. We're gonna rough out our M28 through bore and our 3/4 10 hole on the top of the part, and then move on to roughing the lower features of our part. Since our part's aluminum, I'm using the same tool to rough and finish for all the non-critical dimensions. We are gonna use a smaller end mill to interpolate the super tight bores, but other than that, we can rough and finish with our core 5 and save ourselves the headache of having extra tools that could possibly break. After we've roughed out the top of our part, we're gonna come back with an 1/8" end mill to surface all these contours on the top of our part. Then we're gonna come back with a 1/4" end mill to finish the tight bores just above our M28 threads. We're gonna use the same single point thread mill to create our M28 threads and our 3/4 10 threads. This will save us a little bit of tool change time and make our setup a little bit faster by minimizing the amount of tools we need to load into the machine. After that, we're gonna rough out the big through bore and then go back and make a few deburr passes with our 1/2" core 5, and then come back with the thread mill and do 1 spring pass per thread. By adding a couple spring passes to our bores and threads, we can cut down on deburr time outside the machine substantially. So next we're gonna drill and tap our M5 by 0.8 threads. So as a machinist, one of the most frustrating things that I have to deal with is a broken tap. They're impossible to get out, and they almost always scrap the part that you're working on. That's why I'm super excited we've partnered with OSG, and now we have the best taps in the world in our shop. With this roll tap in aluminum, I'm gonna be able to run thousands of these before I ever run into any issues with tool breakage or tool wear. Using roll taps cuts down on burrs and adds some rigidity to your process, so you don't have to worry about breaking taps or oiling a cut tap. After we finish our through bore, we're gonna start roughing out some of the material on the sides of our part and whittling it down to our tab. Because the core 5 has a 30 thou radius on its corners, I can use that as a surfacing tool just like a ball end mill, but I'll be able to feed it faster and have more flutes engaged at the same time. Now that we finished the steps on the side of our part, we need to remove all the material necessary to tab this off. Again, we're just coming back with the core 5 to rough out as much material as we can, And then we're gonna come back with a 1/4-inch end mill to remove all the material from those smaller fillets that the 1/2-inch end mill can't get to. Now, before we tab this off, I'm gonna leave my support point as beefy as possible until the very last tool. Now, the tool that actually does the tabbing for us is gonna be our 1/4-inch end mill. I left this support point 200 thou wide, and in one shot, I take off 150 thou and go straight to finish with a conventional cut to push the part away from our tool as it becomes less and less supported. All right, so that takes care of the machining on this part. All that's left to do is break it off, take it to the deburr wheel, and polish it up. Then we'll have a completed part in one operation. And the great thing is the machine will keep running whatever we have scheduled in our queue while we're doing that.
All right, episode 1 is in the books. Make sure you guys tune in next week. Barry will be actually setting up, strategically programming the left side differential carrier. And trust me, it will be absolutely insane. And then after that, we'll go to the following week where we put it all together, program the entire machine, and then put the system into lights out machine and giving you all of that knowledge. Boom. See you guys next week.